radio station.
Aaron Rodgers openly talking about his football mortality. LeBron James doing more podcasting than hooping. We need to cherish these dudes while we still have them.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
I don't know what it is about my thumbs and this touchpad thing, but I never can seem to hit the play the open button there. Is that like a... I mean, you saw me clicking it, C-Cat.
Yeah.
It was happening.
You're floundering.
But, you know, just like the talents and the athleticism of the greats that are playing, when we talk about an Aaron Rodgers, a LeBron James, even a Kevin Durant, like, my talents are withering away right before my eyes. It's weird. Man, theoretically speaking here, myself, Theo Dorsey, C-Cat on the other side of the glass, on the ones and twos, on a Wednesday where we're talking about those things in life we need to take the time to cherish. Not just in life, but specifically in sports, because today I was really awakened to so many different things, so many cherishable things, so many things that play a monumentous part in my life as a sports fan that are nearing the end, nearing the twilight. And it is a little bit sad, but the beauty of it all is that we still have these things. We still have inside the NBA right now. By the way, inside the NBA tonight, NBA on TNT, every day is a good day when Anthony Edwards is playing. I know we had Pacers Celtics last night. That was a thriller. The best show in sports, though, is the Minnesota Timberwolves. They tip off tonight on TNT at 8:30. Mavericks Timberwolves opening up the Western Conference Finals. Game one, that's going to be exciting. I can't wait for that one to start, obviously, tonight. It's easy for me to be in a mode of being grateful, showing a lot of gratitude, and also talking about cherishing things that might be gone soon, because literally around this time last week, when the Timberwolves were trailing the Nuggets 3-2 in the Western Conference semifinal, I thought I was done watching Anthony Edwards until the summertime. I thought I was going to have to wait until Team USA basketball to see Ant Edwards, the Ant-Man, back on the court. But thankfully, he and Kat and Rudy Gobert got things together. They're playing tonight, so that's something to look forward to. But the reason why today we opened up with what we should cherish in sports right now as sports fans is because of the news we've been getting around the NBA. C-Cat, how locked in are you on the broadcast right deals and the situation going on between Turner Broadcasting and the NBA and potentially NBC, which is starting to burgeon itself as the new partner for the NBA?
Pretty loosely. You got to spell it out for me and the audience.
I will. I'm glad you said that. And thankfully, I'm not going to go through all of the minute details of it. But as we know what it is right now in the NBA, you have ESPN as the main broadcasting partner. You have TNT. That's where you get inside the NBA with Shaq, Chuck, Kenny, and Ernie. It's called Inside the NBA. My wife, Ashley, endearingly calls them the four bald guys. And what we learned today in the Sports Business Journal is that the four bald guys inside the NBA could be doing a victory lap next season. It could be a farewell tour next season if Warner Brother isn't able to renew itself as a broadcasting partner of the NBA. And again, Tom Friend had this article in the Sports Business Journal that came out today, and I won't go through the whole article, but the last sentence is the omen that has everyone in sports a little concerned. If Warner Brother does in fact lose the NBA, 2024-2025 will be its final season under the current deal. That is a bit breathtaking. Now, of course, you don't lose the characters themselves. Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, those are guys that are going to be in media in some form with us. As long as they are with us, we'll be getting takes from them. The one thing, though, that did take me over the edge is, I don't know if you've been noticing this, but Charles Barkley, who, again, hopefully we do see him on the call tonight. I know Draymond Green has been filling in for him. every interview it seems like this dude has taken over the past 2 weeks, he's spoken honestly and openly about what his future may be, not just with Turner, but with the NBA and in media in general. And Charles Barkley was on Sirius XM, and he alluded to something that I never even thought about being a possibility, but now today it kind of makes me sulk a bit. Ernie Johnson is a staple of Inside the NBA. He is one of the legendary broadcasters we have in sports media right now. He's a friendly face. You can hate or love any of you guys on the desk, but it seems like he's the one with the highest Q rating because he keeps the fellas going there, right? Charles Barkley on Sirius XM today alluding to Ernie Johnson being nearing retirement.
I don't think Ernie would leave. Well, B, I don't want to give you any lie to you. First of all, I know Ernie would not go anywhere else. You know, Ernie's almost 70 years old. I think he's going to retire sooner than later. I don't think he would go to another network. And I don't know what's going to happen with Amazon, ESPN, or if we lose it to NBC. So I'm not sure how to answer that question, honestly. I just don't know. Ernie would not go to another network. I'm damn sure about that. But I would listen. I would listen before I made any decision.
Chuck's a businessman. He's open. Like I said, we're going to see more of Chuck. We'll see Kenny. We'll see Shaq. The question is really, what he's alluding to there, we might not see Ernie anymore. And he's not even the only one right now in sports that is there's a foreshadowing that we might not have them in our zeitgeist in the near future. Because also, literally, moments before we're about to spark up this show, we're having a good time. I'm talking about how the one guy in sports for me that I want to cherish while we still have him playing basketball is LeBron James, because we know he's walking into that twilight of his career. We know that, if anything should tell you that LeBron James is nearing the end, and it's obvious because he's in year 21, the dude was podcasting during the NBA playoffs. That's the same LeBron James who would do the 0 dark 30 thing and not even tweet, not even be on social media during the postseason. That was just happening maybe 4 or 5 years ago at the latest. He was doing the Mind the Game podcast with JJ Redick during the postseason, and he's still doing it now. In fact, he was specifically talking about the Pacers Celtics. He's the only one in national media bringing up Pacers players, specifically TJ McConnell. I think this is a bit weird, C-Cat, because as LeBron James turns from Le GM into now Le broadcaster, Le analyst. Is that a good?
Yeah.
Yeah. As he turns, if he shifts his focus, and now I guess also Le owner in the NBA, he's being more and more open about his opinions of NBA players. But I've heard this once, twice, 3 times from him already. I find it a bit peculiar. He keeps specifically pointing out one Indiana Pacers player who, by the way, again, last night, game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, the Celtics beat the Pacers 133-128. LeBron James, on his podcast that was released this morning, pouring more love into a role player from Indianapolis.
Oh, and obviously TJ McConnell, he's just he's a coach's dream to be able to have a guy like that comes in, knows exactly what he's doing, puts the tempo. He's always going to be high in assist-to-turnover ratio, and he's just a dog. So you are absolutely right, man. This postseason is great, and as much, obviously we know the narrative is always going to go to the star guys. But to be honest, these games have been won by the MVPs of the role players.
And by the way, TJ McConnell, one of the only ones that had a positive turnover to assist ratio last night, 4 assists to 1 turnover. The Pacers were turning the ball over left and right all throughout that game. In fact, that's how they lost it. They had a lead late, and if it wasn't for Tyrese Halliburton dribbling the ball off his leg, as well as an errant inbound pass to Pascal Siakam that Jaylen Brown got his hands on, we would be talking about the Pacers being up 1-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals right now. But the Celtics lucked their way into a win there. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum were great down the stretch. But specifically, LeBron James, hearing him actively podcasting during the NBA playoffs reminds me, not only are we getting good content out of the guy, but we're in the last days of getting him on the court playing at a high all-NBA level, trying to lead a team to a championship. He's one of those guys right now we need to cherish in sports because we don't know when the last day of seeing LeBron James play will be. And then And then again, what I was really alluding to, but I'm all scattered-brained right now as I'm getting emotional about these sports figures we're losing, there was Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers in Fordham Park at Jets OTAs moments ago, up at the podium, and him foreshadowing the fact that he knows he only has a couple years left tops in the NFL, but specifically this year could be make or break, not just for the 40-year-old quarterback, but for all of the folks he brought in there, whether that be his former Packers, Nate Hackett, and maybe even his head coach and GM. Here's Aaron Rodgers talking about how this year could be make or break for the Jets.
If I don't do what I know I'm capable of doing, we're all probably going to be out of here. So I like that kind of pressure, though. I know there's, it's a tough market to play in. It's not for everybody. I relish that opportunity, and that's the way the NFL is. I'm not saying anything monumental as you guys are typing away and putting your
They couldn't wait to tweet that out.
This is how it is every single year. You might not say it, but as you get older in the league, if you don't perform, they're going to get rid of you or bring in the next guy to take over. I mean, it happened in Green Bay. So, and I'm, a few years older than I was back then. So I expect to play at a high level. I expect this to be productive and competitive and all that stuff to take care of itself.
Now, I actively root against Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, I've never been necessarily a fan of his. His game is incredible, right? Like, I did like him at times with the Packers, but his personality kind of rubs me the wrong way, so I've never rooted for the guy. But thinking about the NFL post-Aaron Rodgers, it does get me a little bit emotional. Thinking about the NBA post-LeBron James, I'm actually saddened by that. That's LeBron Incorporated. That's a guy that carried the Eastern Conference mantle by himself for over a decade. And you see what we're getting now in the Eastern Conference, a Celtics team that stays getting in its own way, playing with its food and almost losing to an Indiana Pacers team, and then a Tyrese Halliburton-led Indiana Pacers squad in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, LeBron James was holding up the East like the Atlas dude, right? Like on his back for so many years that we didn't even realize how decrepit that conference still can be at times. LeBron James, Aaron Rodgers, even Ernie Johnson, guys we're going to have to get used to going on without. So that's why I asked today, who in sports or what should you cherish now, because we don't know how long it'll be that we'll still have them with us actively playing. I'm not getting morbid here. I'm talking about guys leaving our vision, leaving our sight in the game, not just the NFL, the NBA, but sports at whole. 888-760-3776, 888-760-3776. Who or what in sports should we cherish now, because we don't know how long we'll have them? And for me, it's got to be LeBron James and what he brings to the game. And C-Cat, I can say this. Thank God we're getting a LeBron James Jr. this year.
Of course. Back in the news.
Yeah.
That's what we needed.
Just a guy, I mean, because here's the thing about LeBron that people don't like to admit. Like, either you love to love him or you love to hate him, right? He's one of the most polarizing players in the league. So no matter what he's doing, what he's calling for, who he's rooting for, who he's actively recruiting to the Lakers, that's another thing people are angling about. Like, is LeBron James just trying to get another point guard in the house for the Lakers and TJ McConnell? I don't know. He also has a very effusive praise for GM of the Thunder, Sam Presti. He talks about that dude at every turn. Like, I don't think it's any of that. I think, number one, LeBron is angling to be an owner of an NBA franchise. But then also, he's just in his broadcaster bag right now. He's in his post-career bag right now. And it's just a little sad to me to see. Evan Cohen, who we hear on Unsportsmanlike every morning with Michelle Smallman and Chris Canty, and he always makes his Wednesday appearances with us. He's going to be with us after the break, and I would love to hear his LeBron take, because he's as a Heat fan, as a Heat culture purveyor, he's actually a LeBron hater in a sense. So I don't know if he's going to feel the same way as I do about this, but I did hear on Unsportsmanlike this morning that he actually drew a bit more from game one of the Eastern Conference Finals than I would have ever. He has a now undying faith. He has a now strong belief in the Boston Celtics because of the fact that I guess they almost lost to the Pacers and found a way to win. Like, to Evan, that was inspiring somehow. And I can't wait to pick his brain on that. He's going to be with us in a few minutes here on Theoretically Speaking. But I do want to allude to something that happened in the game that did kind of bring a smile to my face. In the back end of that game, if you didn't see it, the Pacers actually led this game 117-114 with 32 seconds to go, and they had the ball, right? The Pacers were supposed to win this game. Halliburton would dribble the ball off his leg. Jaylen Brown then would strip Pascal Siakam in a big moment there, and that all led up to this. The Celtics were down by 3 late in that game, 8.5 seconds left on the clock, and the ball found Jaylen Brown in the corner, and it provided a historic moment, not just because of the shot that was made, but listen to the call from Mike Breen on ESPN's NBA coverage.
Trying to get free, throwing in the corner, Brown fakes, fires up the 3, bang, bang, Jaylen Brown knocks down the 3 to tie the game.
Okay, you heard it once. I'm going to play it back for you and listen closely to Mike Breen because he went with his famous bang, but I think I heard it a second time.
Trying to get free, throwing in the corner, Brown fakes, fires up the 3, bang, bang, Jaylen Brown knocks down the 3 to
Jaylen Brown eliciting the double bang from Mike Breen. C-Cat, I know you're not as big of an NBA guy. You're more of a Major League Baseball guy. You're a golf guy, but you are locked in enough with the league, the association, I should say. Do you know how incredibly rare a double bang is from Mike Breen?
There are less double bangs than there are men who have walked on the moon. That's a bona fide fact.
It's got to be. And I don't know how many men have walked on the moon.
Yeah.
Is it just Neil Armstrong?
I think it's like 13.
Are they really?
Yeah, it is.
That many more guys got on the moon since 1969?
I got to fact check that now. I pulled that number out of nowhere.
Google that before we go. So look, when we come back here on Theoretically Speaking, we're going to bring you Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike. We're also going to let you know exactly how many double bangs we've had out of Mike Breen. C-Cat's already alluded it's under 13. And what's the ruling? Do we give it to him now or after the break? How many men have actually walked the moon?
I'm going to give them to him now because it's more of a responsibility thing. Only 12 people have walked on the moon. Not number 13. Not yet.
Well, you were counting yourself. I believe in you, C-Cat. Yeah. Theoretically Speaking, coming back to you right after the break, and we bring you presents. That's C-Cat. I'm Theo Dorsey. We're Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE.